Hey folks, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. We're back with more Tales of Maj'Eyal with our Cultist of Entropy. Just to give you a quick recap, we are level 11, having cleared the Trollmire, the Dearth Arena, the Maggot, of course, the starting dungeon, and the Lumberjack Village. Levels 10 through 14 are the most dangerous levels for us, so we saved Norgos Lair, which has long, straight corridors that we can use to protect ourselves for those levels to try to get through them as smoothly as possible. I'm also just going to quickly do one thing that I think I have been forgetting to do. Have to go into a town for this, or a dungeon, but a town is safer, and just activate my staff and set it to darkness damage. That's the type of damage we do most of, so that way we gain an additional percentage of damage with most of our spells. All right, let's hop right on into Norgos' lair. Step around the corner there and just see a big pile of bears. Just gonna plop that down. Because there's 4 enemies, they all generate hallucinations, which is really nice for us. Use this shot from our staff to knock down all those guys and clear out all the bears. Alright, let's take a look at what we've got. Okay, we've been put to sleep by Bethowen, the black bear, who's a solipsist type enemy, so they have this summon and also are a pretty tough base class. I'm going to use my Clear Mind Torque here. Oh, no, can't use objects while sleeping. Whoops. So we're going to use a Shatter Afflictions rune. Put that up. Block the tile with the monolith. Of course, they have a beam, so it goes right through it, but still blocks the melee type enemies from getting to us. We also have our very first random unique. So this enemy has 2 different class levels. It's a cursed and a summoner. That's not too dangerous for us. It will at least need to get next to us to really put us under a lot of pressure. But given that we're trying to fight it and the solipsist at the same time, I'm going to spend this turn blinking backwards to get away, and then we can hopefully just hit the solipsist around the corner. It might actually be coming because we blocked off the tile. It might be trying to come around through that passageway. But if so, we can at least clear out these ads and get it to come after us soon. Okay, so the summoner is coming after us, as is the thought form from the solipsist enemy. So this could be a little dangerous. We've used a lot of defensive cooldowns already and haven't really done any damage to the actual enemies yet. Here's the unique, and yes, it looks like the other enemy is coming around the corner. We've also popped all of our Void Stars and have this damage shield going now, because we've taken enough hits that went off. There is, however, a hallucination between us and the snake, so that should buy us a little bit of time. And use Prophecy of Madness on it. It's a square because we have the Grand Oration, which makes it an AoE effect, and this way we can give it longer cooldowns and a chance of hitting itself instead of going after us, which is really important. I'm going to then try to teleport it away from me. Actually, I'll wait until it gets next to me, because we still have 2 turns of shield, so we can tank 1 hit from it. Let's throw that up. Okay, so it summons the Warhound next to us. That's fine. We actually don't mind having this summon next to us rather than the snake, because the boss's melee will be the most dangerous. Alright, now it has jumped to us. It has 76% health remaining, and we have to bear in mind, and healing that we do to ourselves will be given to it instead. We also are stunned, so I'm going to have to pop a cleanse to get rid of the stun. And then we're going to attempt to teleport this guy away from us. It might resist the teleport, but it didn't, luckily. We also have to keep in mind that the other rare is coming around the other side, so I'm definitely in a precarious situation here. Beaming that, we moved towards it because of the beckoning effect on us. There's a 27% chance that we'll move towards it, which is obviously not great for us. So now that I'm adjacent to it again, I'm going to use Anarchic Walk to teleport a random distance away from it. Then I'm going to place my Entropic Gift on it to try to pull it and its summons back towards this tile, but because it's a snake, it moves sometimes twice in 1 turn. Snakes have very fast movement speed as a base chassis, so it can be it can get to us much quicker than other enemies would. I have a blink and I have regeneration left. I'm going to use Prophecy of Ruin and Treason on it. It's now next to us, so I'm going to blink backwards, and again, the rare could be coming around the other direction, and probably is, so we might be blinking right into the rare, but let's still do that because I really don't want to be next to the unique. I'm going to, let's see, we've got reduce healing by 44%. That's okay. I'm going to throw down Dark Whispers on it and all it summons. It summons a spider, but it's almost dead. Alright, and we've killed our very first random unique. So that's what happens when you hit level 10. You start getting enemies that have multiple class levels, and sometimes those can combine in ways that are extremely dangerous. Now we know there's still the rare around, so I'm not going to auto-explore yet. I'm going to keep walking around. We got a unique lamp there that's not very good. Here's the rare, just around the corner, so it actually didn't come back after us, which is interesting. You would expect it to. I'll hit it with Prophecy of Treason, and it resists the Prophecy of Ruin, but at least we got the Treason effect on it. Let's try to block it off with a Void Monolith, and then try to get some damage over time effects on it. Right now it's aggroed to the Void Monolith, so that's good for us. Gonna pile my black hole on it. It actually teleports all the way past us, which is interesting. It put up like a mind gate and went past us. And then I'm going to just keep hitting it. This at least is just a rare, so it's not as dangerous. I'll spend a turn on my regeneration. It just hit me for a big chunk of damage. Let's shoot it just with a basic attack. And I'll use my Core's Fall Bone Spike on it. And another bolt. Should kill it. Alright. So there we go. That was a little exciting. Sometimes you'll see an elite or a boss in these early dungeons that you just can't fight, and then what you have to do is just leave and come back later. One thing that's odd about this playthrough so far is that Norgos Lair and the Trollmire are the two starter dungeons, 2 tier 1 dungeons, where, because we're a Kornak, we can spawn escorts, which can give us additional skills, and we haven't seen an escort yet. So that's kind of unlucky for us, because this is where we can get escorts actually successfully through their escort mission, so I'm hoping that we get one in the next level or 2 of Norgos Lair. Escorts are really important because they can give us a way to see around corners or additional defensive options that we wouldn't have otherwise. Alright, we're right next to this cursed enemy, so I'm going to blink backwards from him and then block him off. He's going to try to go around the other direction. So here comes the Hornet Swarm around this way. Let's get him with the prophecies. And the Prophecy of Ruin just ticked 4 times in a row, and sometimes this can happen where the Prophecy of Ruin effect triggers the next Prophecy of Ruin tick, and it just one-shots an enemy entirely. Right. Got the warg up there. Gotta pop a defensive cooldown to get rid of that stun. Even the normal enemies, which I'm mostly ignoring. Okay, so we know because there's a rich flame spitter here that there's a summoner enemy somewhere around the corner. This unit wouldn't normally appear unless there was a summoner. There it is. It's the wolf. I'm going to wait until it comes 1 tile closer to me, and then, oh, well, it rushed me. I was going to wait until it came 1 tile closer and then try to block it off with the monolith, but it rushed right at me, so let's pop it back here. It summoned a guy behind me, so I now need to blink out. Then we'll block them all off with the monolith here. get the prophecy down on it. Because we're level 11 and don't have our Herald of Oblivion yet, but the enemies are still pretty high level, this is the most dangerous point in the game for us. Here's a rare worm mass. It's a cursed, but it's just a worm mass, so that's a pretty weak base chassis for it. We can just kill it. Here's a rare hornet swarm. That's a very strong base chassis because they're just very fast. So let's blink backwards. It's also a saw butcher, so they have a huge silence they can cast on us. We've got daze, but daze is not actually a huge problem for us right now. All right, so it did a big explosion because it's a saw butcher, but it's aggroed to the monolith, so we're relatively safe to just shoot at it. Just a normal bear. All right, and we've cleared this layer, this level of the dungeon. Let's take a look at these items. So we've got an acid rune, which we can use to disarm enemies. That's pretty valuable, but and I'm going to hang on to it, but I think I like our current rune setup right now. We've got only die when reaching -40 is pretty nice on a hat. We would lose 6 spell power, which is also a really valuable... Oh, no. Never mind. Oh, yeah, okay. So this hat is way better than our current hat. For some reason, I was mousing over the hat, but it was showing me the tooltip for one of these staves. This Summertide file is not as good. Actually, the Summertide file is fine for us. It gives us some resistance, which isn't super important, but does give us extra light and the ability to light tiles. And right now we have just a basic lamp. So is it better than this lamp, which gives Constitution and Magic, a little bit of saves? I think we prefer the extra light radius for now, but this isn't a very good lamp for us. It mostly works with melee characters, and we'll probably look to switch it out soon. I forgot that I hadn't bought the plus health lamp that we found in Dearth, and maybe I should have done that earlier. Just rest to get everything off cooldown, even though we aren't going to use this lighting effect, but... Alright, so there's a Thought-Forged warrior, so we know that there is a solipsist worm down there somewhere. Because it summons a copy of itself. Okay, it's another random unique, so it's a Mind Slayer and a solipsist. Luckily, this is just a worm mass, so it's not as bad as some other classes. We got dazed, but we'll cleanse that, and then get the prophecies on it. I'm going to shoot the Thought-Forged warrior to get it out of my hair. Keep stacking up Dark Whispers on the worm mass. Ouch, we took a big hit there, so I'm going to pop my regeneration. Oh, I misclicked there. I meant to click right on it to actually damage it, but... We should be able to just face tank this guy. We've got inner demons, so there's a chance that we'll summon a demon to attack us. Like, it's basically the same as our Hideous Visions. It did also pop our damage shield effect. And because it has a lot of defensive abilities, it's actually not taking very much damage. So I'm going to disengage from this fight real quick. Get my cooldowns back. Actually, I'm going to wait one turn to do that so I can offload my Entropic Gift onto it. Now we've summoned a demon. So we're going to blink back from that. Get away from the demon copy of us. Try to Dark Whispers around the corner. Kill that thing. Then I'm going to pass the turn a couple times to get my cooldowns back, most notably my regeneration. It pops around the corner and puts us to sleep, but we expected that. And we also let the Dark Whispers that was on it tick quite a lot, so it got down quite low, and we can finish it off with a shot. That's one of the really important skills in this game, is knowing when to just disengage from fights, and whether you have to run all the way away, or whether you can just wait for cooldowns. That guy keeps dodging my bolts. Alright, we've got a rare Treant. It's a psi shot, but I'll block its line of fire by putting the monolith there. Give it Prophecy of Ruin and Treason as well. There's another rare, though, a rare Corruptor, Skeleton Warrior Corruptor, and another enemy coming from the side. Both of these guys do tons of ranged damage, so again, I'm going to disengage real quick. And then we can Dark Whispers them around the corner and do it again. This guy is now in vision of us, but that's okay. We can just zap him. So he's going to shoot at me. Currently have decent health, so we don't need to use our regeneration effect yet. Got that skeleton, and now this guy's coming back around the corner. The skeleton blocked him from coming at us, so we basically bought ourselves the ability to fight these guys one at a time by moving backwards. Would love to get a shorter cooldown blink, but I think the 4 distance is the most important thing on the blink. 4 or 5 is what you really want on a blink rune. Alright, we've hit level 12. That's an important level for us, because it gets us a couple of our really key spells. Let's hit some magic and some more constitution. And then I'm going to start with getting Cacophony here, because this has 2 important effects. So it counts as a Dark Whispers stack, so it adds damage to your Dark Whispers. And it also doubles the chance that a hallucination will be summoned from a Dark Whispers unit. So it can really help generate those hallucinations, and then they can defend you. It also counts as casting 2 spells at once for Nile, which means that it can be used to trigger Unravel Existence an extra turn faster. Between Cacophony and Twofold Curse, we have 2 ways to cast 2 spells in the same turn. So instead of taking 6 turns to set up our Herald of Oblivion summon, we only take 4 turns. Anyways, over here, I'm also just going to keep grabbing more points in Luck Drinker. Actually, we're level 12, so I'm going to grab this point in Revelation. If we attach this to Prophecy of Ruin, it heals us for damage every time the target heals us for a percentage of damage every time the Prophecy of Ruined enemy takes damage, and this gives us some incidental healing, which is pretty useful, given how much damage we do to ourselves on this class. Let's set this to auto-use when out of combat. Rest, and add it to Prophecy of Ruin. So now we have all of our prophecies set up, each of which has a unique effect, but we're mostly just using Ruin, and then Treason comes with the Ruin. And it's less for the effect of those particular abilities than it is for being able to double trigger Nile with the Twofold Curse. Alright, so we've Dark Whispers these 2. I'll show you Cacophony, so that just adds an extra Dark Whispers stack to both of them and makes it more likely for them to summon hallucinations. That's one of our key spells in our rotation. So most fights we're going to open Black Monolith, Dark Whispers, Cacophony, Prophecy of Ruin plus Prophecy of Treason, and then 1 other spell, and that will be our 6 stack to trigger Nile. That's our sort of default rotation. Got a rare Brawler, so I'm blocking him off, and then he's going to have to run around. Might come back this way, so I'm going to lay down this path. Yeah, so it did come back this way. Then we'll give it the Ruin and Treason effect. Then it's adjacent to us, so I'm going to try to teleport it away, which worked. It's around here somewhere. Okay, so this guy snuck up on us. This thief was invisible, jumped out at us from nowhere, did fail to apply any debuffs to us, but it's still not a guy we want to have next to us, so I'm going to teleport backwards. He's actually also a Cultist of Entropy and has summoned his own Void Monolith, so let's return the favor. And we actually blocked a shot with that. The Void Monolith dazes. We're just going to let that happen, I think, for now, because we need our cleanses for other effects. Since this is a Cultist of Entropy enemy, it can do all the nasty things that we do to enemies to us. wait until this Void Monolith despawns, and then I can cleanse the days. Let's get the prophecies on it. Yeah, so the days is gone now. We'll get the prophecies on him. We've got Entropic Gift and Entropic Wasting, so we're taking double entropic damage. Let's actually, again, return the favor. But our Entropic Gift has the Black Hole, which pulled him back. Stack Dark Whispers again. I'm going to pop my Regeneration because we'd taken a bunch of damage. Zap him, and he actually popped a Nile Shield. Or a Void Stars Shield, the same one that we have. So even though this is a ranged class enemy, the Thief still has pretty good melee damage as a base type, so I'm going to teleport away from him using our random distance teleport, Anarchic Walk. And then we should be able to finish him off. Alright. Again, I want to be really careful in these fights for the next couple levels, because we don't have our main damage source online until level 14. So it might look like I'm being sort of overly cautious against rares or even against common enemies. But it's definitely worth doing in order to avoid dying to these guys before your class really comes online. Oops. Alright. I didn't see that this guy was there, and he got to jump out at us and hit us with throwing knives. Throwing knives is one of the most dangerous things an enemy can have, so I'm going to get out of his line of sight. And then hit Regeneration. Try to block him off with the Void Monolith, but he just goes around it. Gonna pop this as well to remove that damage. Throwing knives are really dangerous because they go through just about everything, so you can't block them with a Void Monolith. Or they can like multi-target you with the same action can target you with several attacks. We've got stun. We've been stunned and weren't able to clear the stunning effect. I'm going to try to teleport the enemy away. And he dies over there, you can see, because he dropped a lantern. So that was a little bit of a scare when we took half our health just walking around the corner. Again, that's why I don't always recommend using auto-explore. Alright, still hoping for an escort here, but let's take a look at our items first. We got a movement and some wild infusions, none that we really want. This unique belt is a tier 3 belt. Gives us extra con and some life regen, some healing mod. I guess it's very mildly better than our current one. It's a pretty bad unique belt, but we'll put it on for now. Sludge Grip. These gloves give you cunning, willpower, and nature damage. They're really good if you're a class that cares about those. I think for us, actually, the extra armor is just better, though. But I'll hang on to them. Just because I like collecting the unique items. Let's get rid of this hat that we're not using anymore, and this belt that we're not using anymore. Got some better lanterns, maybe? Any plus life on our lanterns? Nope, nothing there that we want. Alright, so still pretty bad loot overall. We're going to have to get a little lucky with our shopping trips later on. But let's go see what the next level of this dungeon gets us. Alright, we finally got an escort. It's not one of the ones that we really want. Like, the one we want the most is a thief, because it can get us track, which lets us see through walls. But a warrior isn't terrible. It can have a regeneration effect. So with these escorts, they will walk towards this purple dot on the map by themselves, with no regard for self-preservation. So in order to keep them alive, you need to get ahead of them and kind of block their movement. There's a fire ant there, so I'm going to sit here and fight it. This zone is a little easier to keep escorts alive in. I'm just going to keep passing the turn because you can... It's a lot of narrow corridors, so you can get him stuck behind you, which is what we've done. Alright, a rare snake, so we definitely want to fight that, and it's a cursed. So it shouldn't have huge AoE effects. If it did, we would tell the escort to wait a turn, wait a few turns, which you can do only a couple times each escort mission, but which is really worth doing if the escort would be sitting in a bunch of AoE and dying. They won't leave AoE effects because, as I said, they don't care about themselves at all. All they care about is getting to the next location, or getting to the exit point. Just going to keep passing till all my cooldowns are back. Now then, which way do you want to go? So I think it's going to want to just go west. So we're just going to keep walking west. The escort might go south, so I'm just going to pass here. All right, looks like it does indeed want to go west. Now, here we've got another enemy. It's a rogue enemy, so again, no AoE. I won't worry about the escort. The escort might try to run around to the left there, so hopefully it doesn't. If it looks like it is, I'm going to yell at him to stay in where he is. We've been frozen, but I will pop this to get rid of the freezing effect, and then use the monolith to block him off. Monolith and also the hallucination both block off the wolf. Got another enemy coming from the left here, which we really want to kill to stop our escort guy from dying. So it looks like there's a summoner around there somewhere. Pop my regeneration. Wow, we are taking huge hits from this rogue who's got some sort of ranged ability that he's using. So let's kill that. Oh gosh, okay, so it's a bear, and it's a boss level enemy, so this is a random boss who's a Mindslayer / Berserker. So we may not be able to save our good buddy, the escorted warrior here. I'm wondering if the best hope for him is actually to move out of his way and try to get him to just walk past me to the exit and hope there's no enemies down here. Now let's see what we can do fighting this guy. So he rushes us. I am going to... We didn't get stunned or anything, so I'm going to attempt to teleport him away. Which did work, and he generated a hallucination, so that's really good for us. Let's also put some prophecies on it. Actually hit with both prophecies, so that's also good. Alright, it has pulled us to it and also aggroed a random unique over here. Well, I'm afraid that our escorted buddy is definitely doomed, but I need to get out of here, and it's more important that we survive, so let's teleport. We're going to use this torque to get rid of the confusion effect. It might not run forward because it won't run directly into enemies, the escort. So it might be able to... It might choose not to run directly forward into the random unique down there. And one thing that is in our favor is that the random unique that's around the corner is an immobile enemy type. So if we can get the escort trapped, we'll be able to kill the enemy around the corner, and it at least won't join this fight. We're doing that just for a little bit of extra damage. We're on fire, but I'm not too worried about that right now. One turn until we get our regeneration effect, so I'm going to spend my one turn actually just stepping backwards, and I'm going to use an ability I haven't used before. Accelerate just drains enemy movement speed and increases our movement speed and doesn't cost a turn to use, so if you just plan to move, it's a reasonable thing to just activate that. So we're going to step back, and then I'm going to hit my regeneration. We were just trying to buy some space there. Then... yeah, the enemy around the corner is a summoner, so it's continuing to send its summons after us, unfortunately. Taking big hits from this guy, too, because it's a Mindslayer. Let me cleanse this fire and get a small shield to block some of this damage, and then pop Cacophony. Try to double the effect of this guy. Double the effect of our Dark Whispers on this guy. Then we're going to place this black hole to try to stop it from getting to us. Don't want this enemy next to us, of course. Stacking Dark Whispers. We get our teleport off in one turn. Off cooldown in one turn. Continuing to do damage. The escort is now going to run in and die, I think. Let's teleport this guy back. Yeah, so the escort ran down and is now going to go die to the poison ivy down there. Did hit both prophecies on this guy, so let's see if we can kill it quickly and then get to the escort, but I think it has enough defensive effects that the escort is just tragically lost to us. It did take a turn to hit itself, because we have Prophecy of Treason on it. Pulled us to it. I'm actually not sure where the where the warrior has gone. I don't think it could have made it around the corner that quickly, so maybe it went back this way? I didn't see. I'm going to blink backwards, though. Got some damage there. It may have gone down this corner and then gone to hide down here somewhere when it saw the enemy around the corner there. So I'm hoping that that's what happened. Oh no, here he is. He came all the way back around this way. All right. Well, odd choice, dude, but I hope you've learned your lesson and back up. Nope, he's not backing up. All right, so he's going to die to the thing, but in an attempt to save him, I will teleport this way. And then, what if I say, just stay here? Right now, it's not currently taking damage, and the other enemy was down here, so it can't see it. So I think maybe the escort will survive at 2 health over here. So it's in this tile right now, hoping there's no enemies off to the left that will come grab it. Let me try to kill this thing before the escort gets impatient and runs out and dies. So this is a summoner and a Psyshot, and then there's this shadow as well, which means there's yet another rare enemy in this area, because something is summoning these shadows, and it's not this guy. He doesn't have the class types for it. Currently, it's just fighting the hallucinations, so that's good. But not taking a lot of damage, still at 100% health. Got another little rogue out here. Alright, our escort is on the move again. Is there a way I can get him trapped behind me if I go over here? So let's say I were to anarchic walk this way. I could stand in this tile and trap the escort. I could also trap him just by placing Black Monolith here, and then he'd try to go around. Let's actually do that. That'll get him stuck without me having to move yet. They don't wait for very long when you tell them to wait, and they'll just charge ahead and die. I might try to walk across now to try to get the escort trapped. So let's do that with my teleport. No, because if I teleport in and then the doomed that's over here is something frightening, we're out of luck and have no mobility skills left. So I'm just going to walk. Now I have to go for it if I want to try to keep this guy alive, which I really do, so let's try to land in one of these tiles over here. Okay, so here's the other rare. I can't tell him to wait anymore, and we went too far, so I can't block him off anymore either. Let's use this ability to actually slow him, and then step around down to here, try to block him off. So now we're actually in a tile where the enemies can't get to it, and I think it wants to move into the tile that we're in, so we're trying to keep the escort alive by standing here. There are more enemies coming from the east, but hopefully they won't come all the way around and get our escorted guy. I forgot to check what tile exactly the enemy is in. I think it was this one. draw this bolt so it actually goes next to that enemy. Keeping an eye out to the east to make sure that nothing is sneaking up on our warrior buddy here. Using Cacophony. Multicasting Dark Whispers as much as we can around the corner at the random unique down there. So I'm pretty sure it's this tile because a hallucination spawned here, and they always spawn next to the enemy they're attached to. And whatever is in that tile just did 100 damage to something. Looks like this guy has stopped summoning because the summons are not appearing around the corner, or they're trying to get to me going to the left. So maybe our escort is actually safe for the moment. Okay, and we also got the boss of this zone, who is a brawler class enemy. Although it looks like we killed the random unique just with our damage over time because an item dropped here. But we've got Norgos the Guardian here who can pull me to him and also just does a ton of melee damage. So here's another big threat because we've pulled the boss of the zone. And because we're over level 10, he has class levels, so he's a brawler right now. I'm hoping that we can get Black Monolith off cooldown and block him off, but we'll see. I'll give him the Entropic Gift. Okay, nice. So he spawned another hallucination, which is obviously great. The longer we keep him blocked off, the better. Okay, so here's a summon from the other enemy that has just come around the corner after us. And here's the summoner, or no, this is a different summoner. This is a snake rare summoner coming around the corner. So this is also where having track or some other way to see through walls would be really helpful. Let's pop that and Cacophony. Try to keep these guys distracted with hallucinations. The summoner I'm not too worried about. The main thing, honestly, that I'm worried about is these guys just tagging my little buddy here who has 7 health left with an AoE effect of some kind. It's obviously not the end of the world if we lose the escort, but I really like having the escort skill, and, you know, it just feels bad to fail a quest. This guy down to 65% health. Let's keep stacking effects on him. The prophecies we had on him have worn out, so we're putting the other ones on him. He's now getting close to us. He does have an effect that pulls us to him. Just his native chassis can do that, so I am hoping... Okay, so he rushed to us instead. Let me try to teleport him away, because I still don't want my warrior escort going anywhere. So let's see if we can get this guy back behind that hallucination, which we did. So that's great. Then I'm going to pop my regeneration, because I took a ton of damage when Norgos jumped me. Should be coming back around the corner. Yep, there he is. Let's put this black hole on him to try to pull him back, but he has wild speed, so he's super fast and running at me. Madness and Treason are still on him for one more turn. And we are running out of defensive cooldowns as well, so we might have to abandon our escort here if this starts getting too hairy. Because this bear could definitely put the hurt on us if we let him. I could use Suspend to just get 3 turns of cooldowns, but since I can't take damage during that time, the bear might go around and just kill my warrior buddy. I'm going to take one more turn of face tanking him and hope that we can get some sort of cooldown off that will save our warrior. If not, we have to give up on him. Alright, we didn't take any damage there, so I think we can get one more turn, because I think he hit himself for the prophecy. I am just going to tag him with damage right now, and we have 2 turns. We can prophecy him again. Something important to know is that most of my spells won't damage my ally here, so I can include him in the AoE safely. Alright, it looks like he is missing or failing talent because we've got Jinx stacked up really high on him. Took a fair hit there, but we should be safe to wait one more turn and then get our regeneration back. Now he summoned a hallucination, so that will reduce his damage if he's hitting me, or cause him to hit the hallucination instead. It's also nice that we have a higher level regeneration effect, because now we're regenerating 40 instead of the 20 that we would be regenerating with the earlier regeneration effect. Keep on shooting him. He's down to 27%. We got stunned, so I'll pop this to remove that. 20%. Stunned again, so we're removing it again. Does he still have the prophecies on him? He does. So I'll wait to recast prophecies. Zapping him there. One more turn of prophecies, then we'll recast them. Let me remove this damage and by placing the black hole. Casting new prophecies on him. Down to 2% health. Alright, and we have killed the boss of the zone. Well, that was a very complex series of interactions there. So I hope you enjoyed that really tense fight, trying to keep this escort alive. And I'm going to pass the turn a bunch. And I really hope he doesn't just get sniped as we go around the corner. So let's step down. Alright, we got an item, but I think there's a wall between us and the other unique in this area, so I believe the escort should be safe to make his way over here. Nope, okay, so there is a path here, so this guy can see around the corner here. Let's block it off. It at least can't move towards us, and we can stop here, and the escort will stay behind us and around the corner where he won't get shot. We are again going to have to fight this guy, though, sort of head on if we want the escort to survive. Took a bunch of damage, so I'm popping my regeneration. At least this enemy doesn't have a ton of defensive stats. Summoners and Psyshots both don't have a ton of defensive options, so it should go down a little faster than some of the other enemies that we have faced. Nice, got a hallucination there blocking off its bullets. It has a summon, but we're going to block off all of its shots with a monolith here. This is fun. This was a really tense series of encounters with a boss, a unique, and the zone boss all in one place while we were trying to keep an escort alive. One more turn until my regen, but we're at full health right now. Alright, popping it now because we were down 40. And the enemy has died. Alright, and let's pass the turn a bunch, get everything back off cooldown. And then we should be able to just walk the escort guy in. Alright, well, hope it was worth it. We get a choice between unlocking the option to unlock a new category of skills, but our category points are very stressed on this class already, so we don't want to do that. We can get Exotic Weapons Mastery, which we never attack, so we're not getting that. We can get Vitality, which gives us a minor regeneration effect if our life falls below 50%. And Unflinching Resolve, which gives us a percentage chance to remove stuns and confusions and blinds and stuff if we get it to a higher level. We won't get it to a higher level, so we're just going to take Vitality. It's not an enormous regeneration effect, but anything can help when you're below 50% health, so we'll grab it. Alright, now we can just explore the rest of this zone real quick. Hopefully there's no other really scary enemies sitting in the zone, but if there are, we at least don't have an escort and have a lot more space to work with. The other thing that made that fight kind of tense was that we didn't really have a good retreat path for a lot of it, because we got pulled in, and then if we had retreated back the direction we came from, we'd have gone past the other enemy. So here we've got a bulwark, and I saw that there was a Mindslayer or something just off the screen there, because we saw that bolt come in. These ants at least don't have a ton of base health, so as a base chassis for a tanking enemy, it's not the most frightening. Okay, here's a Gunsnake. This is a non-random unique that can spawn here, and is a pretty frightening enemy to face. It's just does a ton of damage from range. So we'll put the prophecies on it. I'm going to prophecy this guy as well. Try to knock this stuff down. As soon as we start taking damage, I'll blink down around the corner. But ideally, I'd like to kill this ant before we have to leave. Let's use our beam effects that hit everything. So we got the ant dead. And then hit this guy. Starting to tank up a little bit of damage, so let's pop regeneration. It got us with a physical damage increase. And we just took a big hit, but have a shield that generated because we lost all our void stars. I'd like to kill its summon as well, so let's just do damage to both of them. Just kind of blasting away at it. Right now, it's got no prophecies on it, so I'll put treason on it. Just give it a percentage chance to fail actions. Dark Whispers to try to summon more hallucinations. It's a snake, and it shoots guns, because it's a gun snake. And it's really fast, so... That's one of the dangers, is it can sometimes take multiple turns for our single turn, because its global speed stat is so high. But we did kill it, because it doesn't have a ton of health, so that's... Killing the gun snake often works that way. Now we've just got some normal snakes. Okay, we've got a cursed snake next to us. I'm going to blink backwards from it. And then pop down the monolith to block it off. Do all these effects. I think it's trying to go all the way around here. So it might be out of range of this Dark Whispers, but when the monolith despawns, it's coming back. We have the fear and heightened fear effects on us, but those aren't anything we really need to worry about cleansing yet. Got it with the prophecies, and the prophecy of ruin just killed it. Nice. Alright, and we're not quite 14, we're at 99%, so that's a little unlucky, but we did clear out some bosses and a bunch of uniques, so let's take a look at our items here. We got a worse regeneration infusion, a slightly worse shield than the Rune of Reflection, but not by a ton. Heroism infusion is fine, but on a very long cooldown, and kind of dangerous to use because you have to be able to heal back up. Let's look at this staff. So this is a tier 2 staff. We would lose our extra nuke, but get quite a bit more spell power. Little bit more damage, some armor and defense on this as well. I think this staff, because it is 5 more spell power, and the armor is not bad, it's pretty close here. For now, I'm going to hold on to this at least until we get one more spell in our rotation. Hold on to Kor's Fall, at least until we get one more spell in our rotation. But when we get one more spell, I might switch to this staff. Let's take a look at this belt, because our belt is pretty bad. Nope, nothing that we want there. We'll look at this robe. Nope. And these gloves. We can't wear them yet, and they're pretty bad for us, so no point in those gloves. Here's a Lantern of Health, so that gives us worse light radius, but 40 more maximum life, so we're just going to swap over to that. And nothing else. This is actually a reasonable thing to carry. I'm going to just quickly tag this as escort healing. So this can heal an allied unit, which means if we had had this Elm Totem when we were trying to escort that guy, we could have brought him back up from 7 health. So I'll equip this in future dungeons when we get an escort. Let's get rid of this crappy level 1 lantern, and that should be good. It's time to, I also should level up, because we hit level 13. So let's get that and this. And my next class point I'm going to put into Power Overwhelming. So this is a sustain that makes basically increases our damage, but more importantly, makes all of our abilities deal entropic wasting damage to us. Which means that all of our abilities, not just the Demented Nether abilities, cause entropic wasting to trigger, which causes Nile to trigger, which causes the Herald of Oblivion to trigger. So getting this unlocked is one step in putting together the core combo of this class. Let's also just keep leveling Luck Drinker to give us a percentage chance to dodge all damage. And recall out. We already looked at all this stuff, but I'll hang on to the unique Mind Star. Again, I like collecting these, and there's a thing later where we want a bunch of high value items. Let's actually also, I'm going to tag this as Strength 3, because that should let us, with 2 Strength 3 items, get a point into heavy armor training next level. That'll let us wear helmets and gloves, metal helmets and gloves and stuff. The next dungeon that we are doing is Kor'Pul, the ruins of Kor'Pul here. And I think I'm going to cap off. Let me set this to auto use and auto combat. I'm going to go hop in here real quick, because what I want to do is show you the Herald of Oblivion, and we are just about to hit level 14, so let me kill any enemy and level up there. It would be really funny if I just died doing this, because there's this rare snake that actually is a real threat. Alright, so we've hit level 14. Let me level that up. So now we get Unravel Existence, and keep leveling this stuff. Oh, before I level this, also, yes, I accept these changes. We're going to quickly put on our Strength 3 hat and our Strength 3 pickaxe, and that will let me have 16 strength, which lets me get the first point in heavy armor training, where you can wear heavy items. It just gives us a lot more optionality for what items we equip, and then we are going to put back on our torque and our hat, rest until everything's off cooldown. And here we go. Here's a random unique. This will be a perfect test case. So he's a Doombringer and a Reaver. Those are melee enemies, so let's block him off. Because we have Power Overwhelming, we stacked 1 stack of Nile on him. Let's hit him with Dark Whispers. He's up to 2 stacks. Cacophony. This should bring him up to... he had 0 stacks, then he had 1 after Dark Whispers, 3 after Cacophony. Then we're going to hit him with Prophecy of Ruin and Treason. Notice that he's up to 5 stacks of Nile, which you can see there on the right. And then I'm going to hit him with Entropic Gift. And boom, the Herald of Oblivion. So this is our good buddy, Herald the Herald, who is incredibly damaging. You can see he got summoned and immediately brought this guy down to 40% health. And this is a tough, random, unique enemy. We just shoot, and Herald the Herald gets to whack him. I actually don't know where he went. You go around the corner? No, he hid in the wall. He's too scared of Herald. Alright, Herald despawned, but leaving him at 20% health because the guy ran away from him. And boom. So that's what this class wants to do for damage for basically the rest of the game. And with that, I am going to leave off this video because we're at 1 hour. We'll come back now that we've come online at level 14 and do the Ruins of Kor'Pul, and the rest of the tier 1 dungeons should go a little faster now that we have a high damage combo. Alright, my friends, thank you for watching as always, and if you've enjoyed this, let me know, and feel free, of course, to subscribe to the channel for this and more strategy game content. Cheers, folks. GG.